Welcome to lesson 4 of the 2015 classroom in a book version. This one's called Editing and Combining Shapes and Paths. Before we get started, we saw that we have to make some edits. At the very end, we're going to change this red bird to a purple bird. We don't have to worry about that now, we'll just worry about it at the end, but remember we do have to make a change after we're finished with the lesson. In this lesson, we're going to be combining shapes, joining path, using Pathfinder, doing all sorts of really fun stuff. So I've already opened up my files, L4 end and L4 start. And if we look on page 106, we need to rename our file. We'll go to start. And we've got some artboards going on, and we got some stuff over here. So we need to name it Bird in the Hand. Save as. And first initial, last name for everybody, so I don't get 100 bird in the hands. Hand. Alright, so we're going to get started. And we're going to go to Artboard, Bird 1, Artboard 2, Bird 1. Double click it, and we're going to zoom in, plus. And we've got this kind of weird wonky shape, and we're going to use the scissors tool. In our tool panel, your scissors tool is here. We have eraser, scissors, and knife, or keyboard shortcut C. What we're going to do is we're going to take this closed shape, break it up, and make it into an open shape. So I'm going to actually zoom in even more. And we're going to kind of cut it right here. So we're going to use our cursor, and we're going to cut on the path. If we zoom in, we're going to, and remember, you can't cut directly on a path, or this box will come. You can only use the scissors on current paths because it cuts it up. We're going to take our direct selection tool, keyboard shortcut A, take that anchor point and move it out. Right there. That's the one we cut. And as you can see, the stroke stops and we have a nice open shape. And we're going to kind of move this stuff around. Make sure we're moving only the anchor points. To have kind of a nice open part here. And maybe we move it around. Maybe we move this handle over. Right there. We can play around, we just need an open path there. And right now what we need is to create this path from, we took it from closed to open. You can see the stroke does not go through, and we need to make it closed again. So we just kind of reshape the shape using the scissors tool. So what we're going to do is take the selection tool, keyboard shortcut V, select this object, and we're going to do Command G, or you can go to Object Path Join. And as you can see, I kind of connected everything together. We're kind of going to zoom in, Command C, and while this is selected, we're going to take the eyedropper tool to make this shape match this shape that we're just going to nest them together. So if you press I on your keyboard, click on the blue, and it completely matches, and this is just super helpful. And what we're going to do is we're just going to move this on to the shape, and this is going to be the body of our bird. And we've already kind of played around with the scissors tool. So now we're going to go to Bird 2, Artboard 3. We got this toucan over here, and we're going to use the knife tool on its nose. And we're going to make 5 different sections to have kind of a multicolor look. So under the scissors, we have our knife tool. And our knife tool, we're going to cut past and past. Now if you cut just edge to edge, it doesn't do a full cut. Command Z. So this first one, we're going to do kind of a rounded shape. I have a nice rounded cut. The next one, we're going to do a nice straight cut. Hold down Shift, do a Command C. Hold down Shift while I do it. It's not straight enough. We're going to do an Alt Shift to get that nice straight line. And we're going to make sure there's just going to be 5 different sections. It's going to have some length. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Now we're going to use the selection tool to kind of play around with some different colors. So in keyboard shortcut V, double select it. We may want to take it in isolation mode. And we're going to take this one to a blue. CMYK blue. Or CMYK cyan. And we may want to exit out of isolation. The next one, we're just going to keep these green. In the middle, we're going to make this orange. And the orange is going to be M80 Y95. And the last one, we're going to make a nice red. And that red is going to be C15. There we go. So we took it from different shapes and we cut the different shapes into different parts using the knife tool. So we were able to treat each part of this sort of nose into a single one. Now what we're going to do is just to draw a box to select all of the nose shapes we did. I'm going to make that stroke none. So that doesn't have a stroke anymore. So it's a nice kind of smooth gradation. I'm just going to do a Command negative, and we're going to go back to bird 1. We're going to do the eraser tool. Now, I'm not a big fan of the eraser tool. It has its place, but like if you make a mistake, you can't just erase something. It's going to just separate paths. If you make a mistake, select and delete or do a Command Z. The eraser tool is really good for reshaping or kind of blending things up. So you can take the eraser tool from this toggle, or you can do Shift E, and it's going to be looking like a brush. You can use your left and right brackets, which are above your return key, to kind of increase and decrease out. And what we're going to do is actually double click the eraser tool, and there's some functions here. And if you're using a tablet, you can really kind of play around. But we're going to change the size to 20 points. Nice. It's kind of nice and big. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of do a swift up to make this round ellipse into a U shape. And there we go. And as you can see, it kind of fills it up into a path there, which is pretty helpful. We're going to select stroke none, and we're going to make that fill into C85 M50. And that's going to be sort of this eyeball shape. If I Command negative, I'm going to kind of draw a line real quick. Maybe I should give it a color. And if I use the eraser tool, Shift E, if I look there, they've created 2 separate shapes. So I didn't really get rid of anything, I'm just kind of reordering it. So keep that in mind when using the shape tool. We're going to go to this shape, we're going to select it, we're going to take stroke down to none, make that fill match that eye, C85. And what we're going to do is take that eraser tool, and we're not actually going to hold down Shift while we erase, and it's going to take erase in a straight line, which is pretty helpful. So you have a nice flat edge, and we're just going to erase the other half. We're going to select this shape, which is going to be that bird's wing, and we're going to do a rotate. object transform rotate. We're going to do a -20, go to a nice little edge, and nest it into the bird's wing, and give the bird a nice eye. So that was kind of the start for lesson 4. Feel free to watch the next video where we go on combining shapes and whatnot.